Hi, everyone. I love leadership. I bet you do too. And not for the formal roles or titles or positions, but I'm really intrigued by this work of leadership because I believe both personal and professional leadership presents an awesome intersection of both individual and collective success. And as we prepare to launch the upcoming school year, I am reflecting about the lessons I have learned over the years and continue to learn and I'm eager to share them with you too, perhaps for your reflection, for your inspiration, and for your motivation as we get started. So, today I'm going to share my top 7 leadership lessons going into this new school year that I think apply to all industries and all elements of leadership and those who are trying to be the best they can become. So, here's number 1. Be authentic. Every day on my drive to the school, I see an inspiring message on this black Jeep, and it's the wheel cover for the extra wheel, the spare tire that they have, and it says, "Be yourself. Everyone else is taken." How true, right? Now, this applies to life and leadership because we all have unique styles and skills and assets we offer our organizations, our businesses, and our homes. But don't be confused. Let me insert a little bit of caution here. By being authentic, this does not mean it gives us permission to justify being stagnant. I know you're not a morning person. You need your cup of coffee. I get it. I've seen the shirts, right? The ones that say, "Don't talk to me until I've had my cup of coffee." But you know what? This really doesn't give you the right or me the right to bring our bad attitudes or our sluggishness to work and bring the morale of the team down just because you're trying to find your mojo. You see, we can't make excuses for being lazy and say, well, I don't work fast enough, or I've always been late and I'm going to continue to be late. No, ma'am. No, sir. Instead, we got to operate with a growth mindset. Be authentically you as you work towards the best version of yourself. Instead of, I'm not good at responding to those emails in a timely manner, tell your team, hey, you know what, guys, I'm working on getting back to folks within a reasonable time frame. Instead of, I tend to procrastinate and wait until the last minute to get everything done for my work assignments. Share with the team what you're working on and grow from there with support and accountability. There's only one you, so show up and let your individuality and contributions be seen and felt in your organization in support of the overall goals and the mission. Leadership lesson number 2, be a visionary. That's right. After you understand who you are, what you bring to the table, your assets, your strengths, your opportunities, your weaknesses, areas for improvement, we have to have a vision for the work as leaders. And this is compelling for folks who you lead. People want to be inspired. You see, vision converts our work into a mission. These 9 to 5 or just the hum and drum of the daily experience becomes more exciting, becomes more motivating when you help people see the big picture and invite their perspectives and input so they also co-own the vision with you as a leader. What's it going to be like at the end of this month when we all hit these goals or key performance indicators? What's the impact of the decision and grind that you're on right now, right? You may not see it at this moment, but a year from now, what is the impact going to be? Personally, I am connected to this work of education, the big vision, and this work that we do for society of teaching our young people because I know it affects generations, not only our children now, but also their parents and their grandparents and the communities, and for years to come. Talk about legacy and the connection to being a visionary. But let's also zoom in. When you're working with your team, yes, we want to talk about the big picture goals and the vision for where we're headed 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But also, it's important to explain the vision for the projects and assignments that you give your team. You see, everybody wants to be successful, but no one is a mind reader, right? So we have to give folks something to start with, explain what it is that you expect for that assignment or for that task. Personally, depending on what the task is, I may first create a draft, right? And then just ask the team to respond to what I've come up with and help improve it. Other times, I may just offer an idea and say, hey guys, let's go with this, and give them the ball and they run the play from start to fission to finish. It really just depends. But again, being a visionary includes seeing the big picture and also the day-to-day assignments and tasks, being able to move and navigate each situation accordingly to set your team up for success. Leadership lesson number 3: be kind, right? And I know this sounds like, roses and just everything nice and fluffy, right? But this does not mean to be, confused with a pushover, right? I've had to assert myself several times in my leadership journey. Maybe Principal Brann, you're a little bit soft. You should have suspended that kid, or I can't believe you let that parent talk to you that way. But don't be confused, right? As leaders, we have to, yes, be kind, but also assert ourselves, right? And true kindness really means levels of accountability, honest feedback. They say feedback is actually a gift. And leaders, we have to tell the truth. And so, yes, I'm encouraging us all as leaders to say please and to say thank you, right? To ask at times instead of just telling people what to do, right? We're not managing and supervising like dictators. Instead, as we think about kindness in our role as leaders, also think about what does it mean to help people become their best through constructive ideas, through affirmations, and through keeping it real. Okay. And one last thing about kindness as a leader, something that I say often and that I think of often in providing feedback, constructive feedback to members of our team, and also soliciting that feedback from myself, is that I believe in public praise and private redirection, right? It's important to respect the fact that people are all growing and learning. And sometimes when you put them on blast, right, in front of others, that actually causes them to shut down. A lot of adult learning, adult practice, and psychology, right, indicates that folks feel a bit more attacked if it is that you kind of put them out there in front of their colleagues and in front of others. However, when you have these conversations with folks behind closed doors and a check-in and a one-on-one and saying, hey, I need to talk with you about something, and it's presented respectfully, it's presented with the sound relationship that you have with those team members, and also coming from a good place, that feedback is often much more received, and our folks take action upon it. So again, public praise and private redirection is a mantra I've lived by and has been really helpful in my leadership journey. Leadership lesson number 4 is about being visible and accessible. And this is also one of my time saving hacks, if you will, one of my habits that helps me be as efficient as I possibly can. Instead of answering these long dissertation like emails, it's often best to connect in person. Establish routine meeting times, have something on your calendar blocked out to say, hey, these are the times when I'm going to make sure that I'm intentionally connecting with the team, and have good old fashioned conversations, right? Um, I often connect with parents and families during morning arrival and dismissal. I'm there at the door along with other members of our team to be able to talk, check in, how are things going, answer any concerns or questions, respond to them, take feedback and ideas. And this year, I'm even thinking about establishing like an office hours table or opportunity to meet with families and connect with them for those who pick up their children after the traditional dismissal hours during like aftercare. And if seeing your folks is not possible face to face, of course, you could schedule a call, a virtual chat, and you want to outline the parameters for these chats as well so that your time and their time is not only maximized and efficient, but it's also valued, right? So people need to be able to access and have face to face connections with their leaders. And so just wanted to remind us of that lesson as well. Lesson number 5 is to be organized, right? Always strive to be a few steps ahead, right? Set agendas for your meetings. And this is something that our share leaders have said that they really appreciate about our work. When we're coming together for meetings, for check-ins, everything is very intentional. Everything is very strategic about what we're going to talk about. Of course, giving space for open forum and for open dialogue. But as we look at the goals, we're able to map out what are the subjects or topics for our conversations when we meet. Um, and setting up an organized calendar, right? And these are very technical skills that I know a lot of us as leaders, we understand and we get, right? Have a calendar, have an agenda. I want to offer you another idea about being organized as one of a key leadership lesson. And that is, as leaders, we need to make sure we organize our thoughts, right? Realize that we don't always have to share our stream of consciousness with the team. You're still trying to figure out that idea for that project, that initiative in your head. Maybe you need to hold it for a moment, try to figure things out a little bit more before rolling it out to the team, or asking for feedback or asking that the team take action on something, because it's very frustrating to have to roll it back if you don't have clarity, if you don't have a good understanding of where you're heading or where you would like the team to head. So it's important for you as a leader to synthesize your thoughts, and this will help your team be less confused. So again, being organized with the technical elements of leadership for sure to help with your efficiency, and also take time with your thoughts to organize them as well. So that way your team has a clear picture of where you all are headed. Leadership lesson number 6 is to be a role model. Yes, it's true. You may have the lead position on the team, but you are still on the team. So that means pitch in to help as much as you can, contribute, right? Play a role, and help the whole team, rise to levels of success. Be the type of team member that you would want to work with, that you want to work with, right? Celebrate successes, smile, laugh, right? Leaders don't have to be super serious and, dogmatic. There are so many small things that we can do as leaders to show solidarity with our teams. And so some of the things that I do as a school principal is I support with recess or with lunch duty. And, in these opportunities, I am, modeling as well for our team. How do we ensure active supervision? How do we engage with students with questions and talking with them? And as it relates to if there's trash in the hallway, right? I'm walking with our foreman or one of our custodians. I have 2 hands. I can pick it up as well. This is our school community that we collaboratively support and own. Habit or lesson number 7, the final one, is to be courageous. I believe leadership is truly an act of courage. It is not for the faint of heart. Leadership means you are a target for criticism and critique. There are expectations from all stakeholders, senior management, the people that you directly serve, and leadership is incredibly demanding. And, I love self care and being balanced, and it's so important to pursue that and also to model that for our teams. But we have to remember, of course, that leadership often means more responsibility, more hours of work, and less room for error. And so being courageous to understand that you've signed up for a role, a responsibility that will require so much of you, but knowing that you have what it takes to give it your all and to make a difference in your role as a leader and as you share that leadership with those whom you serve. So, again, 7 leadership lessons as we head into this next season. And again, I'm rooting for you. Leadership lesson number 1 is to be authentic. There's only one you, and show up as yourself, contributing as yourself, and doing all that you can. Lesson number 2 is to be a visionary. Really cast the scene for what you anticipate and what you hope for, within short stints and longer stints, years from now. Understanding again the value of the big picture that you all see together collectively. Lesson number 3 is to be kind, right? And by kindness, we don't just mistake that for meekness. Instead, we really are extending love and grace to others by helping them to become the best they can be through feedback, through accountability, through openness, and with reciprocity with that as well. Lesson number 4 is to be visible and to be accessible, right? You got to connect with the people. Serving people is a beautiful experience, and we can't just kind of hide in our offices or anything like that. You have to connect with folks and be readily available to serve them as best as you can. Lesson number 5 is to be organized, and not just the technical elements of organization, but also to organize your thoughts and your ideas, maybe having these pre-meetings with yourself as a leader before sometimes you are sharing ideas and thoughts with the rest of the team, depending on, of course, what the nature of the meeting may be. And number 6 is to be a role model, right? You are the chief signal sender for your organization, and that with that comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of opportunity to demonstrate the expectations that you hold for others, and also how you are a member of the team and strive to also do your part. And finally, leadership lesson number 7 is to be courageous. I could go on and on and on and on about other technical and adaptive elements of some leadership lessons that I've learned over the years and that I'm continuing to lean into. But I really do think that being courageous, being brave, and doing your best, even in the face of adversity and challenges and opportunities, is something that is the heartbeat of every leader. And so I hope that these ideas were helpful for you in your leadership journey. Thanks for visiting with me in the Principals Classroom as we talk about leadership lessons and this beautiful life, which is ultimately our classroom. All the best to you, rooting for you.